We set out from the Sawtooth Trailhead towards Timber Gap with heavy packs 5 days worth of food. In high spirits, there was a nervous energy in the group, knowing that this was going to be our biggest day. Rich had already earned his keep furnishing the boys with a banquet of dehydrated meals the night before and singing songs to our group. The climb was immediate and brutal from the trailhead. Thankfully, we had our verse for the day, Exodus 13:21-22. And he did light our way. The miles ticked away, but at mile 5, still no Timber Gap Creek crossing. It was not until mile 6.5 that we finally arrived, tired but ready for the adventure. The boys took a quick plunge in the creek and we recharged ourselves with lunch. Everyone filtered water and we set out again after 45 minutes to what we thought would only be a short hike to Pinto Lake. This turned out to be a grueling 3.5 miles with 2,200 feet of elevation gain. Issei was tested with leg cramps, which we addressed with electrolytes and more frequent stops that we were all thankful for. Rich was amazing. He experienced nausea and vertigo at the beginning, and nausea later in the day as well. When Nate and himself rolled into Pinto, it was with a hero's welcome. We ate as fast as we could, and I went to bed around 8 p.m. At dinner, we went through some points of gratitude. Rich expressed gratitude for the boys. Without them, he couldn't do this trip at all. Nathaniel spoke about swimming at the creek crossing. Issei recalled the first creek we encountered with a small waterfall. As for myself, that God got us to Pinto without injury, and that he lit each step before me on the trail.
My tailbone, whatever bone the pack was resting on in the back. Really? Yeah. Cap.
10 miles.
My feet are actually sore. Yep. Cap.
We started early today at 5:30 a.m. and hit the trail by 7 a.m. Our plan was to get onto the Black Rock Pass Trail as soon as we could to avoid the intense noon sun. The group was prepped beforehand that this would be our hardest day. Elevation-wise, we'd be doing only 5 miles, but 3,050 feet of elevation. The trail started with a minor false start, but then we started our hike in earnest. The climb was immediate and intense, with the first 1,000 feet of elevation occurring in the first mile. Thankfully, we didn't get too much sun as we had set out early, and the high for the day was 58 degrees. The pace was comically slow. We took frequent breaks at first, but with 500 feet of elevation left, Nathaniel, Caleb, and Issei and I decided that we were not stopping anymore. To support this, we adopted a comically slow pace, but we didn't stop and were rewarded with the most amazing view of the trip so far. 11,696 feet. Nathaniel and I got to the summit first. Then we got to cheer Caleb and Issei as they summited. Then finally, Nate and Marcus. I'm so proud of these guys. They did 3,050 feet of elevation in 6.1 miles today. After an extended rest, we packed up our gear and made our way down 1,100 feet to our campsite. The initial hike down was incredibly rocky, which gave way to a desert appearance. But there was still snow on the mountain, which Issei and Nate played in. After that, we quickly descended the rest of the way to our second side of the trip, Little Five Lakes, where we relaxed, set up camp, and watched the efforts of the day off in the lake. There was an enormous number of mosquitoes at the lake, but the boys were determined to have a great time, taking turns diving off rocks. We all enjoyed dinner by the lake and are looking forward to a late start tomorrow morning. Gratitude on day 2 for Issei encouraging me with Psalm 121, Rich's continued safety and health, and God providing an amazing view at the summit.
Oh yeah.
I got up at 6 a.m. We had a nice casual start, getting on the trail at 10:25 a.m. The surrounding environment was very different than previous days, owing in part to being closer to the lakes. Most of us are still exhausted from the intense hike yesterday, so the easy miles are very welcome today. Arrival at Big Five Lakes was amazing. The views were stunning, and we were surrounded on all sides by the forest and mountains. They boys wasted no time getting into the lake, skipping rocks and tanning. The fight has a fire pit.
You have it.
A good consolation given that there
Nice.
is no bear locker at this location. Our goal is to eat enough where we can consolidate our food into our available bear canister. Today was a blessing. So much time spent with the Lord. Richard and Nate generously shared their food, so tonight was quite the banquet. I think the cheesecake and the pizza bowl were highlights. There was some last-minute craziness because the bear locker at Big Five Lakes was removed, so we had to scramble to store our food appropriately. Caleb thought his bear can was full, so Nathaniel and I spent 10 minutes trying to hang our trash. Thankfully, I double-checked and there was plenty of space for our trash to fit in Caleb's bear can. There were lots of laughs shared around the fire. We were pretty intensely attacked by mosquitoes. They came out in full force. Some highs for the day, hanging out with the boys for extended period of time. Also, it was an energizing day because of short mileage. Finally, watching Nathaniel eat and have so much enjoyment from his meals was really entertaining. The fourth day of our hike had the most amazing valley and hike leading up to it, easy miles. At the beginning of the day with 1,000 feet of elevation and 4
Slow and
miles
steady,
quickly
guys.
melting away. The weather was perfect, bluebird skies. The boys were fighting mosquitoes for quite a while on the hike. This is the picture of God's abundance. The hike itself was hard,
Nice.
but very doable. Nathaniel gave us a strategy called mule mode, half pace, no breaks. It worked. We got to the summit in record time and were able to set up camp just off the lakeshore. They boys spent most of the day tanning and relaxing. Nathaniel said it was like being at the beach. This lake is amazing, void of people, teeming with so many trout. Next time we'll have to bring fishing rods. The boys tried to spear fish trout. We ended our day with dinner the boys are already talking about, in and out, and watching the sunset on the opposite side of Columbine Lake. It was a spectacular end to a great. As this trip draws to a close, I'm struck by how this marks the end of so many things. The last summer with Caleb and Nate in high school. Last trip with Issei and Nathaniel before college. Yeah, but I know God meets us in new seasons of life, and He has amazing plans for these boys. This trip illustrated to me how awesome these young men are. Their determination, love for one another, and love for God was evident each day.
All right.
Oh, yes, bro. It's the best lettuce. Look.
Crispy.
It's so nice. Bro, what is it about the lettuce though? It's so like crunchy. Yeah. Good stuff, guys. Dude, the lettuce.
The cooking process.
Okay. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Listen up.
I got a document.
Before we get to our last day, let's meet the boys.
Okay, let's do some intros. Issei,
Hey,
introduce yourself.
I'm Issei.
Why are you on this trip? What are you hoping to get out of it?
Because Ben Ho invited me? No. Because I was excited about going backpacking. What am I hoping to get out? Just being in nature with God and friends. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Issei. How about you? Who are you?
Nathaniel in court,
And what are you doing on this trip, man? What are you hoping to get out of it?
just hanging around.
Okay.
You know, connect with the guys.
I love it.
Yeah, get a little fitness from the altitude.
Awesome. Glad you're here, man.
Hello.
My name's Caleb, and I'm Benjamin Ho's son. I'm on this trip so I can see sick views and challenge myself and get away from like my house. Not that my house is bad, just don't want to be in bed anymore. And yeah, it's a good time.
Awesome. Glad you're here, man. All right.
What's up, guys? How's it going? I'm Nathaniel Marcus. I came here to see what I can see, push my body, and train my mind. I'm hoping that, you know, when we get to the summit, we can see something cool.
All right. Glad you're here, man.
Heck yeah, thank you.
All right.
I'm Richard Marcus, and I can't breathe. I'm here to spend quality time with my son. Some quiet one-on-one time for a change and strengthen our relationship. Also here to get away from the distractions of city life and get closer to God. We're here to find the Shekinah glory of God. Out here, God's message is loud and clear. It's more accessible than the distractions of city life. So here to strengthen my relationship with God as well.
Glad you're here, Rich. Last day hiking out of Columbine Lake.
We began our day with thanksgiving for where God had taken us on this trip. The day was our coldest night and subsequently a very chilly morning. The 5:45 a.m. wake-up time was greeted with groggy voices, which soon gave way to the commotion of packing up. Scenes that the boys were excited to get to in and out in a shower. This would be the topic of conversation for the day as we said goodbye to Columbine, our favorite campsite of the trip. We filtered water for the last time, plunging our water bladders into the icy lake, and began our ascent. The elevation gain was rapid and humbling. It would be 1,423 feet of total elevation by the time we summited North Sawtooth Peak in the first mile, B. The going was slow as this was the highest we'd had to hike on the trip. The high point was 11,705 feet. We took a break to observe both where we came from as well as the challenge ahead. This would prove to be a different type of difficulty altogether as we began our descent. Everyone chipped in to find the route down. Ranger Mary's warning to stay to the right was ominous in our heads. The route was described by one hiker we met as hiking down golf balls and pencils. This was the day I had been dreading most because of issues with my knees. With all these thoughts swirling in our heads, we slowly made our way down the scree, hitting dead ends, backtracking, then descending more. When we reached the bottom at Monarch Lake, there was a collective celebration that we had conquered the most difficult part of the day, and we took a brief moment to admire Monarch Lake. And raise an eyebrow at the open-air pit toilet near the foot of the mountain. After that, it was a cruisy trail, descending at a leisurely pace, but the boys pushed pace, whistles and songs could be heard from our group. This turned into excited screams when the parking lot was first seen from the trail. This pushed the boys' pace even further with Caleb and Nate and Issei running down to the parking lot. Richard, Nathaniel, and myself finished together soon afterwards, and we all tagged the familiar trail marker to signal our completion of the Mineral King Loop. God had taken us further than we ever thought possible, and through him we had accomplished something amazing. 34.32 miles of walking over 5 days with 11,004 feet of elevation. For reference, this is the equivalent of climbing the stairs of a 900-story building, scaling the Empire State Building 10 times, or 8.4 Burj Khalifas stacked atop one another. We unwrapped the car from its Marmot proofing and loaded our dusty packs into the car, and finally, unshowered and exhausted, made our victory lap to Visalia to enjoy our well-deserved burgers. As we drove back down, Nate remarked how the length from Magic Mountain to Los Angeles was the distance we had hiked this past week. I'd heard similar comments earlier in the trip, like when Nathaniel realized how far we could travel by foot. Issei shared a sentiment about how God is present in the future to give him confidence about what has yet to come. I'm so proud of this group, their grit and determination. I'm so excited for more adventures ahead as the boys step into adulthood.